All right, in this video, I'm going to be explaining 12 mistakes Camry owners make that cost them thousands of dollars. Now, this right here is a 2026 Toyota Camry LE. It is a hybrid, and these cars can last up to 400,000 miles, but most won't. Starting with mistake number 12 is believing in the lifetime transmission fluid. Now, Toyota manuals often list transmission fluid as world standard and imply it never needs changing. The reality is that heat and friction eventually shear the fluid, so you should 100% drain and fill, never a high pressure flush. And the goal is to do this every 60,000 miles to prevent hard shifts in transmission shudder. Mistake 11 is ignoring the water pump weep hole. Now, unfortunately, Camrys are known for their water pump failures around 80 to 100,000 miles, and you'll usually see a small pink crusty buildup near the pump, and that means it's leaking. Now, ignoring this leads to a sudden overheat that warps the aluminum cylinder head. Mistake 10 is mixing pink and red coolants. Toyota uses super long life pink coolant, as you can see right here. So a big mistake that people make is adding generic green or older Toyota red coolant. Mixing this causes the coolant to gel, clogging the radiator and the heater core. Mistake 9 is following the 10,000 mile oil change interval. Now, newer Camrys or Toyotas in general, like my Toyota RAV4, these suggest a 10,000 mile oil interval change. But in city driving or cold climates, oil dilutes from fuel and moisture much faster. This also includes a lot of stop and go traffic, very heated areas, a lot of dusty areas, especially if you're working in construction, or if you work less than 5 miles from your house and you're driving like this, you definitely need a 5,000 mile oil interval change. Now, I recommend that with any car, not just Toyotas, but a lot of Camry owners make this mistake. You guys got to realize that long intervals lead to oil burning as piston rings get stuck with carbon. Mistake number 8 is neglecting the hybrid battery fan. Now, there is an air intake for the hybrid battery cooling fan, and it will be right here in the back passenger seat, and it'll be right under this chair right here. So as you can see, there is a component right here and that you can actually remove and do service to it. Is very simple, very easy. Now, a big mistake people do is either letting pet hair or dust clog this filter, especially if you have animals in your car. If not, it can just be clogged with dust. If you're using this car as any sort of construction, or you'll have a lot of, hard work labor, those particles can also clog that filter. Unfortunately, if the battery overheats, it leads to a $3,000 plus replacement that could have been avoided with a 5-minute cleaning. Mistake 7 is ignoring the VVTi solenoid. Now, Camrys rely on variable valve timing, which is that VVTi that I was just telling you, and they use that and rely on it for efficiency. Your car will usually give you a warning, such as a rattle on a cold start or a rough idle. And a quick fix for it is using high quality synthetic oil and replacing the solenoid screen if it gets clogged with sludge. Mistake 6 is using generic aftermarket sensors. Using cheap O2 or MAF sensors from Amazon or eBay is a big mistake that a lot of people have. Even my Toyota RAV4 had a recall on the MAF sensor, which is getting serviced right now, which is why I have this car. Some Toyota sensors are not even going to be good for your car. You got to remember that Toyotas are incredibly sensitive to sensor voltage. So always use Denso or OEM Toyota parts for electronics to avoid ghost check engine lights. Mistake 5 is overlooking the brake slide pins. Now, Camry calipers are prone to freezing in salt heavy states. Good thing I'm in Florida, so I don't have to worry about this. But as a result of that, you'll have uneven pad wear and warped rotors. An easy fix for it is cleaning and re-greasing the slide pins with high temperature silicone grease every time you rotate your tires. Mistake 4 is missing carbon buildup for the D4S engines. Now, newer Camrys use both port and direct injection. While it is better than most, carbon still builds up on the intake valves over 100,000 miles. And a quick fix is using top tier gasoline and an occasional Italian tune-up, which just means high RPM highway driving. So you'll just shift into gear and be in high RPMs whenever you're doing like 60. And when I talk about top tier gasoline, I don't mean using 93 on a Camry. I mean using top tier brands. So I personally go with Shell, but I know Exxon, Chevron, these kind of things are top tier gasoline. I think Mobil 1 is another top tier brand. Try to focus on these top tier brands at all times for any car you're driving. Mistake 3 is letting the struts leak. Now, if you hear a clunking sound over bumps or a floaty feel on the highway, usually it's worn struts, and that increases braking distance and kill your expensive tires via cupping. And the reality is Camrys do have soft suspension, so once it starts to go, the car becomes a safety hazard. Mistake 2 is neglecting the cabin air filter, and most people think it's just for the smell, but a clogged filter makes the blower motor work twice as hard. You'll usually blow out the expensive HVAC blower or cause the AC evaporator to freeze up. So you'll go ahead and go into here, and Camrys are much easier to do this. As you can see there's a little slide tab, and if you remove that slide tab, you can access your cabin air filter, replace it right there. It literally takes 2 minutes. Now my RAV4, you have to actually take that out, this whole section out, and then do it behind that, which is not a problem at all. It takes only 5 minutes, but Camrys are much easier, so you have zero excuse to do this. Now dealerships will charge you over $60 to do this, and they'll also charge a deodorant fee. Do not let dealerships do this. All you have to do is go to AutoZone, go to O'Reilly's, Auto Parts, whatever, and do it yourself. It costs $20 for a high quality air filter. Do that real quick and you're good to go. And mistake one is not checking the oil level regularly. Now some Camrys, especially the 2007 to 2011 and high mileage newer ones, are known to consume oil. Now a lot of people assume that just because the oil light isn't on, the level is fine, but by the time the light comes on, you are already 2 quarts low. This causes permanent bearing damage. My rule of thumb is checking the dipstick every 3rd gas fill up, or like I said, getting your oil change every 5,000 miles. Now, if you want your Toyota to last forever, I have a guide in the description below so you can have your car lasting over 500,000 miles. Let me know what your current mileage is on your Camry down in the comment section. With that being said, you guys have a good rest of your day.